What's going on, my broskies? My name is Toadski, back again here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video with Pirate King Adventures just starting last night. I did upload a very brief video with a couple teams, just the first initial couple teams that I made in order to get through the content. And now that we've had a little bit of time now to actually digest this information, understand what the gimmicks are, and like key units that are going to really help you in this fight, I've now reached level 100 in PKA, and I have 4 teams that are able to get the job done, just kind of depending on your situation. So we've got a team with the full batch, we're going to have a team with just Saturn, and then a team with just the rare recruits, and we have this team right here, which is none of the characters from the most recent batch. So with this team that we're having a look at, we're going to be using the Psy Gear 5 Luffy as our main captain. Reason for that is, on the final stage, there's damage threshold, damage reduction. It's just really annoying, so we're just going to ignore it altogether. We can just bypass that. There aren't really that many gimmicks in this Pirate King Adventures this season compared to the last couple of seasons. This one is definitely easier, which is definitely something that I'm really happy about, because PKA, it can be really rough. Sometimes they really hammer in on wanting you to use those new batch characters. This time around, yes, obviously if you've got Rare Recruit Bluegrass, it like solos everything on stage 4, of course, but you don't necessarily need it this season. This season here, you can see what we're doing with this specific team is we're using the Franky that came out in the last batch. Gives you the full board of tandem slots, gives you the ability to remove that special bind, and we did use Galaxy Impact Garp, his special, with that support of Suru, allowing you to do end of turn damage to get around the resilience. Of course, if you don't have that combination, you would just need to have some character to remove the defense and do end of turn damage, or have the defense removal and do remove the resilience. Just one of those combinations of abilities. We also have the Rare Recruit Chopper that came out in the last batch too, to remove the attack down on the final stage. We have the free-to-play Ace, who just has Hunger Potential ability. That's literally the only reason why he's here. And then the friend captain, we can use Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji, which has great synergy with the rest of this team to give us massive damage output. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this one, and we'll go ahead and move on to the next clip, which will be with just the new Rare Recruits. Secondary team here is going to be using Kizaru as our main captain with just the new rare recruits from the batch. Now, to be honest, if you didn't pull Vice Admiral Dole, it's not that big of a deal. Because Bluegrass is like the only real true important rare recruit of this batch. Yes, I would admit that, Vice Admiral Dole has some cool abilities and stuff, but not necessarily required in order to get through level 100 and above. We're still using the Zorojiro 6+, who is technically a free-to-play character, because you can get him from the Rumble season, super evolve him from the most recent Kizuna Clash, and he's really good for stage 3 here to deal with the special reverse mechanics and also give you a bit of a damage increasing effect via that orb boost. The rest of this team though, we do have the free-to-play York. She's actually really good because you can use her on this stage to generate some recovery slots, and then you can use her again on the final stage to deal with 3 turns of damage threshold. And of course, we're using Saint J. Garcia Saturn as our friend captain here, because by utilizing him, we can essentially deal with some of those really annoying gimmicks on the final stage, like the Rainbow Shield and the EX Super, of course, to remove the attack down. So he deals with almost everything on the final stage. Not everything completely, though. There is still going to be that damage threshold, which we are removing via some key support effects and all of that, especially the one on Kizaru. The one on Kizaru is a Kuzan character, and that requires you to hit a perfect with Kizaru as the first tap of the chain. If you do that, you're going to remove 1 turn of damage threshold, which is the last little bit of damage threshold that you'll need to get rid of with all of the other effects that are activated on this team. So as I said, Vice Admiral Dole not really needed. It does provide you with a bit of extra damage on the final stage and stuff, but again, as I said, not necessarily required. Bluegrass carries stage 4, and then Kizaru gives us a really great captain ability, as well as also having the special ability to provide great chain-related buffs, which stack really well with Saturn, which gives a huge, significant attack boost. Moving on to our third team of the video, we're going to be using double J Garcia Saturn and none of the new rare recruits as subs for this team. So the important thing to kind of note here is the ship that we're using. So this is the Dreadnought Saber, which is the Don Krieg ship. I did actually level it up to level 12. I didn't invest any cola into it to get any like modifications or anything. It's just pure level 12 just to give us a bit more damage output. But the effect of the ship is really important because it does end of turn damage, and that's going to be the way that we get through stage 4, because we're not going to use Bluegrass to do end of turn damage. So we're going to use the ship to be our end of turn damage dealer. In terms of other characters here, another one that's really important is this Rare Recruit Ryuma. If you've done any amount of pulls on this 11th Anniversary Sugo Fest banner, you would have likely pulled this character. Ryuma is really good because he changes adjacent slots into matching through block slots. He also gets rid of special bind. He also gives you a defense down conditional boost. He does inflict the defense down, but his defense down isn't that significant. It's only like an 80% reduction, which is why I end up using this Katakuri here to remove that. On top of that support that attaches to Katakuri to remove a further 2 turns of defense up, just to ensure that when Katakuri uses that special, he guarantees the removal of all of the enemy's defense. And then on the final stage, we're going to have the double J Garcia Saturn special, and because we'll have an attack boost at that point that exceeds 8x, we will get access to his EX Super to remove the attack down. We're removing damage threshold via the York special and some key support characters. And while I don't think this is going to last, you know, until deep levels like level 200 and above, it's still going to definitely deal with between 100 to 150, I would expect, just because of the sheer damage output that J Garcia Saturn is outputting for your team. And then, of course, we get to my personal team here. Now, of course, this is not really the full batch team because I obviously don't have Legend Bonnie. If I did, you would definitely replace the York on this team for Bonnie. So the combination of the supports and the York special is how we deal with all turns of damage threshold on the final stage. And then it's pretty much exactly how it ran in my first initial video that I uploaded when PKA first dropped. So we're going to be using the Zora special to deal with the special reverse on stage 3, giving us an orb boosting effect, which is obviously fantastic. And then on stage 4, we can use the special ability of Bluegrass to carry all of that. One thing I forgot to mention as well is to ensure that you do activate a special of York on stage 3 to ensure that you get some recovery slots. Technically speaking, you don't have to use it if you already have a recovery slot. Literally the only reason why we do it is to generate recovery slots to deal with that hunger debuff that stage 3 Franky and Sanji inflict on us. As I mentioned, Bluegrass on stage 4 carries that, and then on the final stage we can literally activate everything else, and that's going to be enough damage to get through. One thing that is a little bit of a side note for this team is that because we are not going to be able to achieve the 10 times attack boost with the J Garcia Saturn team, he's not going to be super effective against all types, meaning that in the variation that you can have on stage 5, where the enemy changes types, they can either change into Psi, or they can change into Int. If you get the Int variation, your damage will decrease significantly. If you get the Psi variation, this team's going to go crazy. So it's just about how much damage you can actually do against the Int variation of this boss. You do see in this clip we are against the Int variation, although this is only early level 100, so the boss HP isn't that significant. But when you get deeper into the event, the enemy HP is going to exponentially grow, and it will become a lot more difficult to get through. But that's going to wrap it up for me for this video. Hopefully this video helps you out. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed it, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. On that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.